So welcome back with me, Steve Hand, and Lessons in Property. Today I'm here with Lewis Whittaker from Lowry Capital. So we've just been having a good chat, Lewis, haven't we, about where you fit into the marketplace. And yeah, there's all sorts. I kind of knew in my mind where Lowry fit into the marketplace, but it's really valuable having a chat with a BDM because there's little quirks that you'll just throw in, like the light industrial thing. You'll do refurbs on light industrial units, and not just looking at the rates and the fees where maybe a lot of people do look at, because they're not really going to come to Lowry for that, are they?
No, they're not. Typically, where people come to Lowry is for a little bit more flexibility. As we discussed, Lowry have been lending for 17 years, and our whole proposition is around being flexible and supporting investors and developers.
Yeah.
So we try to look at things a little bit differently. So like a few things that we touched on when we're speaking was we lend in every postcode in England, Scotland and Wales, which I think is big for you guys. I think you see lots of business up in Scotland.
That's massive, that you'll get lenders that say, oh yeah, we go into Scotland, but it's Glasgow and Edinburgh really, and maybe St Andrews or Glen Eagles, or places that they know are pretty much no-brainers. But are they going to lend in the Isle of Arran or the Outer Hebrides, Shetland Islands, whatever? But you guys will lend all over the place. Doesn't really matter how rural it is, does it?
As we discussed, the most far afield one that we did was in the Shetland Islands, and that one was a holiday let on a high street above a shop.
Yeah.
It was for a first time holiday let operator.
Yeah.
And so I think that shows sort of location flexibility that Lowry have.
And also, like, I know from experience, lenders, they can accept one quirk maybe, or one of the pillars to be down, but you guys will look at, like, if there's a few pillars down. So it could be a first time developer, it could be in a quirky location, it could be a quirky property, it could be a castle, couldn't it?
Yeah.
A castle on the Isle of Arran. I don't know if there is one, but there you go. But it can be several things where I know going to other lenders, they'll just say, sorry Steve, there's too many things here that are not going in our favour. So when people look at the rate, and the rate is a little bit higher, there's no hiding away from that, but it's not ridiculously higher. It's not like proper private bridging money. It's just a marginal increase, I think, from where most of the market is.
Yeah, and as you sort of touched on, we try to be very flexible and we look at each deal on its merits. We're happy to speak to investors and developers if it's a deal which may sound a little bit out there, not your ordinary, but we speak to the client, they've got a well thought out plan, everything's in place, good exit strategy, then happy to try and support that development.
And the case study you were talking about before, I quite like that one because the gentleman was 81 years of age.
Yeah.
So that's quirk number one. Most lenders aren't going to touch that. First time developer as well?
He was, yeah. So on that particular deal, what we was most interested in was his plan from start to finish. So we made sure he was using a reputable project manager. He was going to manage it from start to finish. They organised all the subcontractors. And on that particular deal, how that came around was he had a portfolio of buy-to-lets in the southeast. He managed to gain planning to build a second house in the garden of a large property that he had. And it was non-standard construction as well, worth mentioning, which was constructed using SIP panels. And now he's midway through the development now, always going well. We speak to him, we speak to his project manager, and we're fully on board to make it work for him.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It reminds me of a case study that different age bracket, but it was a lady that was a project manager in her profession, many years of doing that, and had experience in development, but it was all on the conversion side. So it was her first out of the ground development, 12 or 13 flats in the northeast. I think the GDV was about £3 million, so a lot of lenders, in fact, I couldn't find a lender that would do it because it was her first proper ground up, and she wasn't using a main contractor, so she wanted to organise the trades herself to save that margin, and she had a very good relationship with various trades. Other lenders that were considering doing it said, we'll do it if, and it was generally get a main contractor in place. But that wiped out quite a lot of her margin, and she wasn't prepared to do that. But you guys would, so.
We'd definitely take a look at it. Like, as per the other deal, what we'd want to see is that she's got it well planned out. She knows exactly what contractors will be using. Those contractors have experience doing ground up development, but more than happy for her as project manager if she can show competence and experience that she's done it on the conversion side before.
Brilliant. Anything else that springs to mind that we could mention for developers out there? The main thing in my head is not just experienced but non-experienced developers, because not all lenders are going to give them a go. They want 2 or 3 projects of similar ilk, and you're okay if they're stepping up. Speed, which is always important in this game. Quirky property, quirky location. Loan size right the way from 25,000 up to about 4 million. You cover a large number of bases there. Holiday parks, I like that one. Quirky in terms of quirky.
We've been seeing a lot of those recently. I think they offer a great return to investors. Build costs are typically low. Operational costs are a little bit higher. I guess it's more of a business than a sort of property venture.
Yeah.
But yes, it was a big need for them. Since COVID, people have liked to go on holiday in the UK rather than abroad. We're happy to fund them. We've been seeing in all sorts of locations. We did one recently right in between Glasgow and Edinburgh.
Mm-hmm.
A bit of an interesting location because one of the valuers' comments was 65% of the population of Scotland was within 1 hour's drive.
Interesting.
So yeah, I think there's demand for that type of thing. It's something that we're happy to fund.
And I guess it's getting that message across that Lowry do support developers right the way through the journey, but also you don't have to do. It could be that the relationship's right for the first few deals, and after that, if somebody's scaling up, they might go to more of a tier one funder. But conversely, they might stick with you guys because you've supported them right the way through.
Yeah, definitely. And we see both types of clients in that scenario. Some developers, they learn how we work, they like the way we work, they like that we're pretty hands-off throughout the development process. Although we're happy to support them, we don't want to breathe down the neck.
Yeah.
A lot of developers tend to like that. Some people want someone to hold hands, some people want to be left to their own devices, and we tend to lean more towards leaving them to their own devices.
Brilliant. No, thanks, Lewis. That's been really useful. So there we are, Lowry Capital. For any more sort of information on what they do, reach out to us. We'll be able to chat you through it. That's it. Till next time.